hilarious.
That's so funny. Hey, brother.
Hey, Al.
And welcome everyone back to another episode of Siblings in Crime. I'm Allie Rosso.
And I'm Blake Murphy.
And just as it sounds, we're siblings who love true crime.
Yes, love it.
Absolutely love it. As creepy as it is. And this week, we have a missing person case. So,
yes.
But before we get into that, thank you for everyone who's new. We're so happy you're here.
Yeah.
As always.
Like 20 new subs this week or something. More.
Wait. Oh, wait. You're not going to... No one's going to be able to see that. It only is our own view that it looks like that. Stupid. Because we're doing remote, we're trying to do ASL more together. But no one can tell what that is. So, yes, thank you for everyone that's new that's here. It's super fun for us. And always the more the merrier. So if you like it, please send it along. It means the whole world. And this is news to Blake. But I'm thinking, Blake.
You're more pregnant?
I'm more pregnant, and I'm thinking maybe I need the whole September off.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
I think I might need to. I'm like going downhill quick.
That's okay.
So,
you can take it off.
Thank you. It's very kind.
If you're a bitch.
Oh,
I'm just
I
kidding.
am. I was hoping if I brought up the first time on air that you'd be much kinder, and I was wrong.
No, I don't care. That sounds good. I actually need September off too. It's football season starting, and I'm gonna be grinding. So
busy month. Well,
all right, let me tell you about my day.
Okay.
My week. So I had PC, crushed it.
Nice.
Done with my PC. I don't work until Sunday.
PC proficiency check for the airlines. Carry on.
Yeah, we had to do all of our emergencies and maneuvers, and make sure we're good with it.
So you're allowed to keep flying. Congratulations.
Yep. Thanks. And
you don't work till Sunday?
I don't work till Sunday, and then I'm off Monday to Saturday. I'm going to California.
You got all next week off?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, because of training, and then also there were some days I could drop.
That's sweet.
And I just use sick time to still get paid. So
we gotta figure out when we're recording. I didn't know you're going to California. You gotta let me know these things.
Yeah, I know.
You're so obnoxious.
I'll bring my laptop and the headphones and just not be as good quality, but I'll still be there.
You're so obnoxious. Womp womp. Are you playing a small violin?
Yeah. All right, let's get into this before we just like talk away everything.
Oh, yikes. Okay, let me start. Let me give you a little intro of what we're getting into today. So this story starts on a stretch of road in East St. Louis, Illinois, 9th Street in St. Clair. It's December 18th, 2011, a Sunday evening, and there's a black Chevy Blazer sitting in the middle of that intersection. At least that's how it got reported. Allegedly engine running, allegedly driver's door hanging open, allegedly key still in ignition. What is not in question, though, is that there was no driver. Inside the truck were found glasses, her purse, her wallet, a 32-ounce soda still sitting in the cup holder, barely touched. Basically everything a 23-year-old woman needs to get through just a nice, normal Sunday. Just sitting there, going nowhere. There seems to be a breadcrumb of clues that kind of lead up to more questions than answers. And this is the case of Phoenix Coldon. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's roll. So, okay, let's actually back up and walk through that day, the whole lead up. We got to know what's going on. Of course, the timeline is going to matter. And the most difficult thing about this case is sources vary. So we're going to do with what we got with the best sources we have.
Yeah. Really fast. One thing that I remember is I'm pretty sure St. Louis is kind of a sketchy city.
Yeah, super sketchy, which is super unfortunate to find a car in that part of town. That, like, specifically, we're going to talk about this later as well, but those streets, like 9th Street and St. Clair, like that area, not a good place. You're not going to be want to walk around, especially as just a lone little woman. You're not wanting to walk around these streets on your own.
Yeah.
And it didn't start off that way because it's Sunday. They start off at church. Like her family is like hardcore church goers. Like they're her Phoenix's parents took her to church every single week growing up. And Phoenix was pretty active in her church. She actually was part of the handbell choir. Like ding.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. And on this specific day, for whatever reason though, we have Phoenix sitting a few pews behind her mom. So like they aren't sitting together. I'm not sure if they're
It's
just
like the
sitting with
church
friends. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on there. They're
finishing her
just
hair.
yeah. Well, it seems like they went together. They just
Oh.
didn't sit together.
Mm.
And maybe that's like normal. Maybe she just want to hang out with her friends. Maybe they sit in the back. I don't know. But regardless, her mother, Goldia, which is such a cute name, she is like super involved. Like she's going to socialize. She's part of like this like after hours fellowship. So
Been here
as
longer?
Goldie, yeah, basically, yep. So as
Fellowship.
Goldia goes to fellowship, Phoenix tells her mom she's gonna wait outside. Like this is not abnormal. She loves to sit in her truck. This is like such a classic thing. I think when people need to like decompress, people just
Mm-hmm.
go and sit in their car. And I was like,
Yeah.
we all know people like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think most people do it.
Yeah, especially
Sometimes
when
I
you
like
get
to,
home.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I study better in my car. It's like my phone's charging easily, like music's playing, like AC's on, pumping. I'm just like, I'd rather just sit right here and study in my car. I might
That's
waste some
interesting.
gas, but at least I'm comfy and can easily study.
Productive.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say it says St. Louis is a high violent crime rate city.
Mm.
So I'm sure also that will lead into this, but it's probably the cops are pretty busy with high profile crime and stuff like that. But
That's a good point. And that's always tough when the investigators have so much on their plate.
yeah.
So you're right, that is going to come up. But at this time, nothing's wrong because she's just sitting in her black 1988 Chevy Blazer. She's got dark tinted windows. She's got all the privacy in the world and she's eating this up. And
Mm-hmm.
finally, her mom comes out and they actually grab lunch. Then they're headed home around 2 ish or so. I guess like around this time it's like unusually warm for December. And so some reports say Phoenix was like out playing basketball in the afternoon or just like hanging out outside in the meantime. But her family does have plans later. They're supposed to decorate the Christmas tree and they're going to put their ornaments on and all that fun things. So they have like their own little Christmas traditions, which is so great.
Yeah.
But I will say around what they think is 2:20ish, Phoenix does go back out to her Blazer alone in the driveway, and she just sits in there for almost 40 minutes. And her parents assume she's on the phone because, like, I guess this is a normal thing where she goes and takes her phone calls. Obviously, if you want privacy, great place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Then, sometime around 3ish, her dad, Lawrence, sees her back the truck out of the driveway. And he doesn't really think anything of it. They know they have plans later. She's probably just going to go run some errands, whatever. Although time does vary depending on who says what. Lawrence says this happens around 3ish. I will say her mom's friend does report that she thought that she saw Phoenix driving closer to 4:30, 4:45, which is quite a time discrepancy. 3 and
Yeah.
4:30, 4:45.
Maybe she saw her at a different time.
Yeah, maybe she came back through the
Maybe.
neighborhood or something.
Yeah.
That's what
Also,
my guess would
like,
be.
I feel like that's pretty early. Like, if we're talking about a missing person, like she leaves like I don't know, last seen at 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
I see what you're saying. Like, okay, so yeah. So this is like the last time that they like really notice like where she's at and it's like
Mm.
positively seen. So regardless of time, like we know that she's not at the house anymore and everyone agrees like she left at some point driving somewhere. We just don't know where.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, now it
That's
becomes more serious.
that's
What are
like
you
one of
gonna say?
my like biggest fears is just be like something bad happened or like I saw something and they're like, "What time did you see this at?" And I'm like, I don't remember, like 2 o'clock, and
know.
they're like 2 o'clock, and like I guess I don't know, maybe one. Like I wasn't looking at the time.
I hate that too because I'm like, I don't want to be a bad witness.
I know.
Like, I want to like, if I'm ever in the situation, I'm like, I hope I have like the ring cameras working. I'm like alert. I'm paying
Yeah,
attention. I noticed the weird car in the neighborhood,
yeah,
but I am so not paying attention to detail that I don't think I would notice if there was a weird car in the neighborhood. So this is a good reminder, all you people out there, you could be a potential witness, and so
yes, yes.
be alert.
I'm gonna have my cameras outside of business is gonna be HD high def quality,
Yes.
just in case.
Always yes. And it doesn't
Always
just
running. It
yes,
doesn't
it doesn't shut off.
over whatever
Ride
itself.
itself.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
keep going. Sorry.
Exactly. Every camera ever needs to be checked. So, anyways, either way, like I said, she leaves. And this one it gets serious because family's got plans. They know that Phoenix is on board with decorating their Christmas tree and wrapping the presents, but she doesn't make it in time for that. She doesn't come back. And then she never comes back. And so now, of course, the family is getting worried. Meanwhile, that Blazer, the truck, is sitting abandoned in East St. Louis, and they have no idea about this. A call comes in around 5:27 that evening reporting an abandoned vehicle in the 900 block of St. Clair Avenue. So that's Illinois, about 25 minutes from her house or so. However, it is across state lines. So that always becomes a conflict because for whatever reason, states aren't looking at each other's reports. And it always is a conflict.
And
But
it's always jurisdiction, like who is in charge.
such a pain. So an officer does get there around 5:42, and when the officer goes, all he does by his own account is that he runs the plate. He's just checking to see if the truck is stolen, basically, and it wasn't. So it just gets logged as an abandoned vehicle, and it's towed to a private lot. So because of this, we have no photos. We have obviously no forensic workup. We have nothing as far as processing. And I don't know if this is weird or not, but there's not even like a call. So like you would think that if there was an abandoned car, they look up the registration. Oh, it belongs, and this car is registered to Phoenix's mom, Goldia. So you'd think that Goldia would get a call saying, hey, why is your car over here parked abandoned? But she gets no such call.
Yeah, I feel like one time my car got towed, and like I thought someone stole it because I'm like, what the heck, like, and like I finally called some tow truck places, and they're like, oh yeah, we have it. And I was like, no one just gonna let me know like where the car is, like, hey, it's in this tow place, like we took it. It's like,
did you get towed in Utah?
No, in Arizona.
Oh, I've been towed a few times in Utah. I called the cops
and they're like, oh yeah, like, oh, your car was towed. It was like,
is anyone gonna let you know?
Yeah, and it's kind of similar to this. It's like they don't let you know until you call them and you're like, hey, I'm trying to find my car, and they're like, oh yeah, it was towed 2 hours ago.
I was curious about that because I've gotten towed at least twice. But that was on me, and then my car's gone, and I see a sign that says, if you park here, you're going to get towed. So I knew the phone number to call because there's a sign right there. That's my fault. So I was
the non-emergency line, and they're like, they like had a record of it or something.
Yeah, if there's no sign, like how are you supposed to know it got towed? That's a good point. So then obviously at this point, like Phoenix's parents have no idea that the car was ever towed. They think the car is probably still with their daughter, just wondering why she's not coming home. So I think they should start calling is my whole point. But this obviously matters because by midnight, Phoenix still's at home. And I guess at this time, her parents still have like a curfew for her. It's like 1 o'clock. So midnight comes and they're starting to get worried, but it's not until the next morning that they're like, okay, this is actually a big deal because she's good with curfew. It's obviously past 1 o'clock. It's in the morning. She's gone. Car's gone. They call for a missing persons report.
Yeah, because they also would have known she's missing at 5:42 instead of midnight.
Exactly. So you have like all these crucial, you have these crucial hours. You're like, if you would have just called and see whose car this is, you would have been ahead of schedule being like, where is my daughter? Start looking way earlier.
Yeah.
But then it's hard because, like you said, in this area, it's like a bad kind of part of town. They're busy. So, of course, cops are going to be pushing back and saying, hey, she's a legal adult. She can leave whenever she wants.
Hmm.
Police run
Yeah.
her, yeah. So police run her plates too, looking for any record of the car. And now this is what's annoying because remember, the car was across state lines. So when the police look it up, nothing comes up. Like Missouri police cannot see that there was an abandoned car in Illinois.
I'm gonna look and see if that's gotten better because this was 2012 or something.
Yeah,
It has to get better with AI and everything.
I would hope
Keep going.
so. Because you have different state, different system, and then there's like no database that just flags a missing person car. It only is flagged if it's reported stolen, which is crazy. Like you can't put in, "Hey, this is a missing person car." Literally, the only time it's gonna just like pop up in their database if you report it stolen. So I imagine it's probably more beneficial if this hasn't been updated. It's more beneficial to report your car stolen than to do a missing person case because there's actual reports on stolen vehicles, which is because then people actually look for it. Isn't that so ridiculous?
Yeah.
You would think that they would be a lot more serious about missing people's cars.
Want to hear what it says? I said, is there a police database better to connect between jurisdictions? It says there is no single universal police database. Instead, law enforcement agencies connect different local, state, and federal systems using systematized networks
Mm-hmm.
like NLETS and FBI CJIS systems to share data across jurisdictions. Connecting these systems is vital because crimes cross, state lines.
Mm-hmm. So basically,
So
they don't have a universally shared one, but you can check other people's state line or state
yeah,
things,
it should
which
just be
seems
universal
weird.
because
Yeah,
it'd be
that
so
seems
much
weird.
easier. But
Yeah,
be
because like,
like,
how do you supposed to know like which state's even looking? You
yeah,
know,
I mean, you could start just nearby, but I guess
that's
it's
still
not the
ridiculous to
easiest
me.
thing. But
Yeah, so if anyone's in the police world, they're gonna have to let us know if we're totally butchering that because I'm sure like it's got to be easier than the way that it was just described. But
yeah,
regardless, so that Blazer, the single most important piece of physical evidence in the entire case, is just now sitting in a tow lot, and it's there for roughly 2 weeks. So while Goldie and Lawrence are calling hospitals, friends, police, like they're trying to call everyone and do anything they can think to do, nobody knows where this car is. And they actually find out because a family friend of theirs decided to investigate a little bit on their own, which great friend. And in the first few days of January, so Christmas has come and gone, Phoenix isn't home, they don't know where the
sad.
car is. Yeah, so sad. This is when the family friend calls different tow lots, and this is when she finds out that it's been sitting in a tow yard. Um, I think that's probably hard because the family called the police to see if there was any abandoned cars, and I think they probably thought that that would check the box of seeing if anything was towed.
Hmm.
However, you would have to call the tow yard, and so luckily the friend was able to do this and be able to find
Yeah,
out.
they're probably categorized differently.
Exactly. And it's so sad because her dad would later say this thing about how like they would have had a 2 week head start if they would have known where this car was, or the fact
Mm.
that if they would have had a system where they would call before they tow a registered vehicle. So that stinks. 2 weeks in a missing persons case, that's like that's the worst thing
That's
you
rough.
can. Yeah,
Yeah.
like we all know the first 24 hours matter so much. So the first 2 weeks, that's the difference between like fresh evidence and a cold case. So when the family finally gets the truck back, here's what inside. I kind of mentioned it earlier. We have her purse, her wallet, soda, some candy, and you're never going to get it, a bag of lemon slices. I was like, that is what I'm talking about. I guess Phoenix loved sour snacks and she would just eat them like oranges. And I was like, this is my girl. I would
Yeah.
eat lemon slices every day if the dentist let me. And
Easily.
so I was just so proud to see that because I've never seen that anyone else just eating lemon slices like oranges. So, anyways, I love that. So, from the families, what the family was told is that this is all the belongings in her car. I mean, they find that as well, but they were told allegedly that the car was running, the door was wide open, keys were in the ignition. And that's the version that's going to be repeated over and over in every article because this is what the parents telling reporters because this is evidently what they were told. If you think of that scene, that sounds very aggressive potentially. Like someone like yank her out. Like that sounds like a terrifying scene.
Yeah.
So there's a couple theories that get bounced around that's what we're going to actually talk about today's case. But before then, we need to talk about Phoenix because she is, knowing her is going to help with what we can figure out about the case. So she's an only child. She was adopted as a baby by Goldia and Lawrence Coldon. She was raised in Spanish Lake, a suburb in North St. Louis County. She was homeschooled essentially her whole childhood. She was like in a very deeply religious household. They had really strict rules. That comes up time and time again, like how strict everything was. Church every week. And they had a firm, this is so odd to me, a firm no dating before marriage policy. And I don't really know how you do that. So I don't know if you're just supposed to be friends until it's like you think it's your spouse and then you start dating. I don't know what that means, but they don't love the idea of having like exclusive boyfriend girlfriend relationships prior to being like actually your spouse. So a little strict, a little different than what we're used to.
Yeah.
But by all accounts, sounds like they had like a really loving relationship. Like these parents wanted to be parents so bad. Obviously, they adopted this little girl and loved her unconditionally, doing everything to find her.
Mm-hmm.
So inside that world, Phoenix is like a freaking baller. Like I mentioned, she did the little handbell choir, but she also played guitar, violin, piano, like very musician type. And then
Musical.
what's, yes, very musical. It's cool because she fenced competitively. Like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, she was like good. She was like regional junior fencing champion.
Dang.
I was like, that is such a cool like expertise sport.
Yeah. That sounds kind of like a homeschooled person sport.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
fair.
so different. It's like horse racing or like
Specialized in like a
yeah,
random thing.
fencing or go-kart racing. It's like all those
Go
things are
kart.
like yeah, like
That's true.
NASCAR basically. It's like
So cool.
so like it's not like the classic,
You're not gonna be on
basketball.
team sports as much, probably. The
No.
individual sports make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess she was great, and everyone who talks about like this side of her life almost uses the same words every time, like responsible, sweet, intelligent, driven. Her mom specifically says she's very responsible, very athletic, very intelligent, which is why this is such a shock. So at 18, Phoenix moves into her own apartment near campus. Her mom actually co-signs the lease, and after some convincing, she enrolls at University of Missouri St. Louis. But in 2011, at 23, money's getting tight, and so at this point is when she moves back in with her parents. And her mom's honestly excited about that. Like she's stoked to have her daughter home, but now she has a 1 a.m. curfew. And of course, it's always hard for an adult to go back to living with your parents or siblings. Just kidding. Just kidding. But it's like probably a tougher transition. She's had like 4 years or longer, almost like 5 years of freedom, and she can do whatever she wants. She's not getting watched, to this like different lifestyle. By the time she disappears, her parents like believe she's going to be a junior at UMSL, working toward her degree. She's now living back at home, still the girl that going to church and doing fencing tournaments. So that's how her parents know Phoenix. That's like the image Phoenix has put on. But it turns out it's not the whole story, not even close, as we always know. Almost everything that they eventually learned about their daughter's actual life only came out after she was already gone. So we're going to get into it because there are many trails. One theory being she left on her own. We always know that there's a possibility in a missing person's case that they wanted a different life. They can get up and disappear if they choose. As we know, she wasn't loving the strict lifestyle. Could this have been a factor? We'll see. But the big first clue in this theory is college. Her parents believed that she was enrolled, she was doing great. Phoenix had actually not signed up for that semester and just never told them and let her parents believe that she was going to college every day. Not even her friends knew that she didn't enroll for the fall semester. So it's kind of surprising because like she has this really good childhood friend. His name's Tim Baker. And over Thanksgiving break, she's talking about how she was in school, but she wasn't. So like why so secretive about this? I don't know. It seems like a weird just little nugget of information about Phoenix. Second thing being she had a boyfriend. Now we know her strict family rule, right? She's not supposed to have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
But they seem pretty serious. He's kind of only named as Michael B in most
Michael
reporting.
B. Jordan.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, girl, I understand why you didn't follow that rule. Just kidding. So she was dating this guy, Michael B. And when Phoenix was around 18, like we talked about, she moved into her own apartment on campus. It was great. According to that childhood friend, Tim said that she was actually living with Michael this whole time, like without her parents knowing that she even had a boyfriend. Not only that, they were actually like living together. And like, I think that her family thought that she had a roommate, but thought it was a woman. Had no reason to believe that it was a male. I guess that they never really went over to her apartment. But despite that, she was hiding this whole relationship. And so now we have a new character introduced as Michael B. And this relationship was still like very much going on by the time she vanished. Phone records actually show that on December 17th, literally the day before she disappeared, Phoenix and Michael talked 10 separate times on the phone. And their last call of the night ran for 116 minutes. It's like almost like 2 hours or whatever on a phone call. And they spoke again the next morning for just a short time before she had left the house. That the last time that anyone's seen her.
So is Michael not a suspect? Is he not sketchy or what?
It depends on who you ask. I
Because
feel like
116 minutes, 10 times in one day is crazy.
so many times. Yeah, 116 in just one call, and then you have 9 other calls that day. Like that is like
Yeah.
regular communication. As if Phoenix wasn't already hiding enough stuff. Little did they know, not only did she have one phone, she had two. Dun
Wait,
dun dun.
wait. So yeah, she had two phones. Is one for Michael and then the other one's for her family?
Okay,
Or is there another person?
yeah, you would think that it's like Michael, secret boyfriend, and then family, everyone else.
Yeah.
But as you're kind of saying, one phone was for family and Michael and everyone in her life. Second phone was for a completely different guy.
So could this be the reason why Michael and her were talking on the phone 10 times? He found out about this secret guy.
Oh, I actually didn't even think about that, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
And he's pissed about it.
I mean, according to people who knew her, he had every right to be pissed because this second guy was a second boyfriend. So, not just like some random dude.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, this guy's name is also Mike. So we have Michael, the secret boyfriend, and then we have Mike, the second secret boyfriend.
Yeah. So do we actually know it's not Mike and Michael aren't the same person?
We know they're different people. She actually met Mike at like a cell phone store. So random. So I
Well,
imagine he's the one that
she
hooked her up with the new
I was
phone.
gonna say she's like, sorry, that's kind of bad, but she's like, wait, I really want to talk to you more. How about you get me another phone?
Yeah,
Uh,
true. She's like, this worked out perfect. So yeah, I don't know how that worked out, but he probably hooked her up with a new phone. And it's like it's almost like horrible to say, but like her friends and family were like, so we have one phone for second boyfriend, secret boyfriend Mike, and then the other phone for everybody, including secret first boyfriend Michael. So Phoenix is juggling two boyfriends. One boyfriend's hard enough, one relationship's enough to deal with. The fact that she's able to have all this going on, that her parents didn't know about either of them, that's a pretty significant thing. And like you were saying, this could be very messy. I actually didn't even think about the fact that Michael B could have just been pissed about if he found out about regular or other Michael or other
yeah.
Mike.
Yeah, he could have nothing to do with it, but just like that's why the conversation there's so many conversations.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's maybe
true.
why she like wanted to leave is cuz she had all this pressure now with the two
Mm.
boyfriends too.
She's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, so according, I think to her parents, but I'm not quite sure. But evidently, they think that this relationship wasn't romantic. But I'm like, what boyfriend girlfriend is not romantic? Like, then why have a separate phone for a friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's hard for me to believe that they were just like buddy buddy and he potentially got her phone. But regardless, investigators who dug into her life afterward found Phoenix had basically built separate versions of herself for separate audiences. So we have the
Hmm.
church version of Phoenix, her friends, her fencing, her college, and then of course her family.
Yeah.
And I
And
don't
that's
think
what seems
that's
to happen when
yeah,
they have strict rules and things they can't be honest about because they have to be different people for different situations.
interesting. So maybe she just like felt like she could never be her complete self with anybody at that point.
Hmm.
That's interesting. Yeah. And I feel like it's not super uncommon for people to kind of like have different personality versions of themselves. Like you have all that in you, but like different groups bring out different sides of you. But it did seem like a lot more secretive things than like the average person would have,
Yeah.
you can say. And they even think like investigators are like, I don't think any of her friends truly knew her, which is such a sad feeling. Cause like one of Phoenix like best friends, Akira, I believe is her name, she was saying how in the final weeks she had noticed that something was off with Phoenix, that she had become more argumentative, irritable, paranoid. Like she was convinced people were following her. Like she had started to get kind of in like a anxiety driven state. Now we don't know exactly what her mental health was like leading up to the days of her disappearance or before her disappearance, but we do know that just days before she disappeared, she had actually pulled a knife on her best friend Akira during an argument, which is
Dang.
like, yeah, that's like a pretty gnarly thing to do. And Phoenix told Akira that she just wants to go. She wants to pack up her stuff and just leave.
Hmm.
So when she does disappear a few days later, that kind of starts to seem like it has a whole lot more weight now.
Yeah. Interesting. I believe didn't she make a video recording herself saying that she
Yeah.
wanted to leave?
Yeah, so Oxygen did a whole documentary on Phoenix. So if that's something that people are interested in, definitely take a look. It goes way more into it. But in Oxygen, like actually, I'm not gonna be able to put this video in because I think that Oxygen actually like literally bought the rights to this video, which stinks because now if we want to share the video, we can't really get Phoenix's story out as easily. But I guess there's like a quote in there, and she seems like distressed. It's just like a selfie Snapchat type of video, I believe. And she's saying, like, I just want to be happy. Like, I can't remember the last time I was happy. And that just makes you,
Yeah.
that just breaks your heart.
Yeah, it seems like she was dealing with some like mental issues or like
Yeah, what?
episode. Like she was having all these like paranoid feelings and like lashing
Hmm.
out, and then she didn't feel happy and she just wants to feel happy. It seems like there was something like that going on.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, like I said, the details of her mental health, but obviously there was enough going on in her life, whether like outside sources or just like in her head, that she was like telling people she was ready to leave, that she was telling people she wasn't happy. And so that's obviously why this theory has so much weight to it. She's a 23-year-old who secretly dipped out of school, secretly juggling two relationships, secretly living a completely different life outside her house, and who's talking about vanishing. And so like obviously to me this carries a lot of weight, but there's also a lot of weird other elements to this story. So that's why there's more than one theory. So the weird thing about the car, in the beginning of the intro, I kept saying, allegedly is running, allegedly all this stuff. Well, that doesn't seem to always play out in every article. So this,
Interesting.
yeah, this guy, his name's Kendall Perry. I guess like he sat down for an interview, and according to him, like he had a whole
Is he
different
a
account.
officer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So he had a completely different account when he's like sitting down talking about this again.
Yeah, really fast to go back. The initial account was the door was open, the car was on. It seemed
Hmm.
like someone just got ripped out of their car.
Right.
And his account is completely different. It's
Right.
basically the opposite, right?
Yeah. He goes on to say, like you're saying, doors closed, lights off, car parked. Door closed being is like the biggest thing to me. Like you're saying, that completes a whole different image than a car running. It sounds like somebody is like yanked out of their car. It sounds like it was an attack of some sort. And then, as you were saying with Officer Perry, he goes on to say that he was the officer that pulled up to the scene, and that none of that was true.
Yeah. And he kind of assumed, right, that it was just the car ran out of gas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
And
he
so they
thought
towed it.
that's what's confusing to me. I don't have
That's
reports if they checked ever for gas.
yeah, but that makes more sense why they just had it towed. It's like, someone just left their car and is probably trying to go get gas because they ran out. And in reality, that just sounds more like accurate, especially from the person that it happened to.
Yeah, like if you would have saw the car running with the door open, all that stuff, you probably
Yeah,
would have thought that maybe more things happened,
yeah.
especially in this
But
part of
because it
town.
was like closed, locked, he thought it just ran out of gas, so he called the tow truck because it probably needed to move.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like their actions of just towing seems more likely if this is the scene he actually rolled up to. It's still
Hmm.
weird to me that you wouldn't just like try and like call the owner, be like, "Hey, are you okay?" Like from
Yeah.
what I remember from I think it was from Oxygen is that the closest gas station was like 2 miles away or something. So it would be
Oh,
a walk. You would like to
yeah.
think that if they really thought it was out of gas that they would try and get in contact with the owner.
I
But
just do.
I don't know.
Are our phone numbers on the registration for a car? I don't even know.
I would assume so because they can probably like look up this person and then get their like all their information. I think they have everything.
Yeah, I'm just
I
wondering
don't
if there's
know.
like some kind of privacy thing with that stuff, but I don't know.
Hard to believe that we have any privacy in any in anything.
Hmm.
But so I don't know. But this like was like shocking, groundbreaking news that this officer said this. The reporter who originally broke this whole story, the original person who's like engine running, door open, all this stuff, she was like flabbergasted. She's like, "How did I get that so wrong?" And she knows that she got
I
that
bet the
information.
parents were like, "What the freak?"
Well, she got the information from her parents, is what I was about to say.
Yeah.
So she goes right back to Goldia and was like, "Hey, like, where did you get this information that I printed out?" And her mom was like, "I think I read it somewhere." Like, she doesn't remember who told her, where she saw that. And so now it's potentially been misprinted a million times. If if it was a misprint, I guess it depends on if you believe the doors were closed or doors were open. But that's obviously a big deal because the car sitting closed, off, undisturbed, no keys, way less of a severe thing. That sounds like to me somebody who got up and walked away. Leaving your personal belongings behind is pretty weird though,
Hmm.
despite if they got yanked out of their car, like not intentionally, or if you chose to walk away.
True. True that. True
But
that.
that's why it leads to theory number two that something happened to her. Because who doesn't bring your personal belongings, you know?
Yeah. And why don't you show back up,
Right, exactly. And like you
like
were saying
somewhere
from the
else,
start,
or use your
true,
bank account or anything?
exactly. And what you were saying from the beginning, Ninth and St. Clair and East St. Louis, bad area, very bad. And it's not even like necessarily like a random spot. I guess this is like a high crime area that's sitting right along Interstate 70 corridor, which state officials have flagged as one of the most significant human trafficking routes in the country.
Dang.
So it's like if you envision this like perpendicular roads, the freeways going perpendicular from where the car was parked.
Hmm.
Like the car is pulled off the side of the road. In front of the car is like Interstate 70, aka the worst human trafficking area ever.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah. And just interstates and freeways is like in general are, I feel like there's so much crime with truck drivers and stuff, like they're just grabbing people and they're on to their next city or state and never to be
It's just
found.
such easy access to leave. Like you
Yeah.
can be anywhere. That's what freaks me out so bad. So obviously, to be fair, nobody's ever actually came out with definitive evidence that Phoenix was trafficked. Like I said, it's a theory. But here's what is documented. From the moment she vanished, her entire digital footprint stopped, like you were saying. No no bank activity, no cell phone activity, no social media, all of it gone when she left. So that kind of like
That's
total
bad. Yeah.
silence is really weird. I feel like that leans more something happened to her than she
Disappeared.
voluntarily left.
Yeah, 100%.
So creepy,
I
so
feel like
eerie.
that's like the most um, telling sign that someone is not meaning to be gone.
Yeah.
Like if they're meaning to be
Especially a
gone, they're using their bank
23-year-old.
account, or they, open a new bank account or something.
Just
And maybe they,
anything.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree. It's like in 23-year-old, it's not like you have like a ton of cash saved up, like you lived a full life, you can go off the grid. It's like this is
yeah,
like your prime.
yeah,
I don't know. What makes it even eerier though is like literally a week before Phoenix disappeared, a woman named Stacey English vanished from Atlanta, almost with like the same exact circumstances, depending on whether you believe the car was running or not. But Stacey, her car was found abandoned, engine running for sure this time, like no dispute that time. Less than a mile though from where the searchers would later find her, she would actually, or sorry, yeah, she was actually found about a mile away from her car under a fallen tree. Her death got ruled accidental, like hypothermia complications related, and with some like underlying mental health things. But the family like refused to believe that. Like, absolutely not. Did she just like run away from her car and just like die under a tree from hypothermia? Like, that seems very odd. But according to the records, no foul play. It is a very weird thing for Stacey English to have died in very similar or have gone missing for a time in very similar circumstances. Obviously, she was found. Phoenix has not been found to this day. But the circumstances just felt weird to cops, and they actually paid attention to that. And because there was no foul play ruled for Stacey, they kind of dropped that as it entered. Like, they didn't really spend too much time dwelling on it. But two women in two different states, both vanishing within a week of each other, it just feels like it could have something with cars
yeah.
left like the same way.
And I
But there's
don't
not much
know.
more to that.
Yeah, and like I don't know if Phoenix like would do any recreational drugs, but it could sound kind of sounds like maybe could be something related to that where like they're in some kind of psychosis from like some
Mm.
kind of drugs and they kind of don't they aren't acting themselves anymore or just mentally or like some kind of mental or psychological like breakdown or something like that.
That's what's scary. Is like you never know. Like, mental health is such a big thing, whether it's mental health or yeah, drugs, anything that like influences your psyche. It's freaky that like whether Stacey or Phoenix had any of those situations happen to them. It's creepy to think that like you have no idea like what circumstances you're putting yourselves in if you really are under like some sort of mental break or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's so sad. So so sad.
Yeah. So tell me, did the cops ever interview Michael B to see like why he was on the phone with his girlfriend forever and like did they ever talk
What
to him
happened?
about it? Yeah.
I mean, you would think that they would like go so hard into the boyfriend, right?
Yeah.
Because it's always the boyfriend, the spouse,
Especially
the
when they
family
find out about
member.
another guy too. It's like, is he pissed? Did he tell her to meet him somewhere and did something to her?
Yeah, you would think. So they do interview Michael. They're like,
Okay.
obviously this is the person that we need to look into. If anything happened to her, most likely it's someone that's close to her. But what's interesting is her dad, like to this day, I think is like gun ho on Michael B, because they're like they ask Michael themselves, like, tell us about the conversation you had. 116 minutes. There's got to be information in that. Like, was she
Yeah, you
doing
have to
well?
remember a big conversation that was like the day
Yeah,
your girlfriend went missing.
yeah. I imagine once you hear that they went missing, you're like reanalyzing every single thing she said to see if she dropped any hints or something.
Yeah.
Well, what's weird is that he just straight up says he doesn't remember. And the dad is like,
Nice.
liar, like straight up
Yeah.
shady person. But what's frustrating is the police, they like dive into him for a while, and I don't know what Michael B told him, but for whatever he said, it worked because the police came away calling him the most cooperative, most upfront person in the whole investigation, that he 100% has nothing to do with Phoenix's disappearance.
Interesting. I remember that like the cops, had some weird things going on too, but maybe we'll talk about it, but
The cops just seem to not care all that much, it feels like. I
yeah.
don't know what it just seems like they didn't really put the time and effort into the investigation, because I don't have any reports on them interviewing Mike, boyfriend number 2, unless I couldn't find it. But if we didn't look
Yeah.
into secret boyfriend number 2, boyfriend number 1, evidently as squeaky as can be, and we don't
Yeah.
have any information on it, it feels like almost a drop of the ball.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, it's like they probably have a mound of murder cases and drugs and all kinds of things they're trying to, go through as well. It's like it's hard when you're overworked and under
Staffed.
understaffed, you don't have as much things you need to figure things out. I can't think of the word right now.
Resources.
Resources.
Yeah. And I imagine that's the case too. I feel like you have like these big crime cities, and then they have like 10 people to work on like 150 crimes. So
Yeah.
I don't know obviously exactly what their load was at the time, but it's still sad to think that like this is a pretty big deal if you don't know where a person is. Like I would like to think that it would make it up to higher on the priority list.
Yeah.
But there's obviously always things going on. But what, like, a weird piece of evidence that comes up, and I don't even know if it like matters or not, is that among Phoenix's things was a note, and it was like torn into pieces. Some of it was even missing. Depending on the source, I'm going to stick with what the mom said, Goldia. She says that it was in the truck when they got the car back from the tow shop. Um, so she finds it there. Evidently, it was like she at first wasn't sure if it was Phoenix's handwriting, but after looking closely, she thought that maybe it was Phoenix's handwriting, but it was like rushed, it was sloppier, it looked different, but like maybe she was like in a hurry type of thing. So she takes like weeks trying to put this thing together. I'm like, holy cow, that had to have been a serious puzzle. So she's
Yeah.
like putting this note together, and it's like unclear of the exact wording. We don't have that anywhere. The family's own account kind of shifts a little bit, but what we hear from it is that by Goldia's own account, it was some kind of ultimatum. So it says, sounds like somebody was telling Phoenix she needs to make up her mind before 2012, or else I'm going to have to show you what I can do about your parents. That seems very weird. Goldia believed that Phoenix tore this note up and left it in the truck intentionally, thinking like if something happened to her and they searched the truck, they would find this note. And like it would be able to kind of point to that she was in danger, and like kind of leave a little bit of evidence behind on purpose. And that's about like as concrete as the primary sources get. It doesn't specify what kind of threat. It doesn't say like any other details before besides what I gave you. Just that Goldia from her personal account believed that her daughter was scared enough to plan for the possibility of going missing. Like something was leading up to this, and she was like trying to leave some breadcrumbs behind.
Interesting. Sounds weird that she'd go. Like, she said, like we'd go after your parents. Like maybe she trying to like escape so her parents don't get hurt or something. Or
And
maybe
that's
she
like,
like tried to meet up with the person so her parents didn't have to deal with it or something.
yeah, I don't know. So it's like, is she, theory one, intentionally running away just from her own desire? Did something happen to her, or did she intentionally run away in order to protect her family, like not willingly though? But it's
Hmm.
weird because as time goes on, like no new evidence is coming out, but we do have one sighting that may,
Potential sighting,
yeah, may have legs
but very
potentially.
credible.
I
It's
would
not like
say.
it's not like so you see a picture like a sign and then the person's never met the woman
Mhm.
and thinks that they see the person at the airport. it's from someone that knows her personally, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is like so crazy to me. First of all, if I was a stranger and I just saw a poster, I would never be able to identify someone off a
I
piece of
know.
picture.
Yeah, that's like a lot of the sightings that people report. It's
Exactly.
like I see the I saw this whatever, and this girl looks like her, and she's in this place, and they go look and like, oh yeah, that was just the person's daughter. They were just going to the
Yep.
grocery store.
Exactly. And like you were saying, like this specific story has so much more weight because it's coming from a friend. So, like you said, at the airport in March of 2014, this is 2 years after Phoenix vanished.
Yeah,
And her friend, I think it's a church friend if I remember right. Her name's
yeah,
Kelly.
church friend.
Yeah, church friend. Yeah, I think so. Her name's Kelly. And obviously Kelly had a relationship with her. So you would recognize someone you actually knew.
Yeah, like the other day, I saw a friend that I hadn't seen in a long time, and right when he walked in, I was like, "What the heck? You're
Yeah.
here?" But
Even if you
like,
don't remember their
he's
name, you're
changed
like, I
like a
remember
lot. But
you.
yeah, I'm like, I know exactly what you look like and everything about you. You just may look a little different because you're older, but I knew who you were right away.
Exactly. And so that's why this specific part is so interesting to me because this friend of hers, Kelly, is boarding a Southwest flight from Vegas to St. Louis or St. Louis, whatever. I don't know what people care. She looks up at the line of passengers. You know, you're watching everyone coming in, boarding. And this is when she sees a woman that she's like almost sure it's Phoenix. And she literally was like so shocked. She goes, Phoenix? And the woman turns to look at her and says, "Oh, do I look like someone you know?" And then just like, and Kelly's like, yeah, my friend Phoenix." But this woman just continues to board and carries on.
That's like a weird thing because like I wouldn't think someone was asking me if my name was Phoenix.
Hmm.
Maybe if they're like John, I'd be like, oh, do I look like John? Do you look like someone you know? But
Yeah.
like Phoenix, it's like I'd be like, oh,
We're
we're
going
going
to
to
St.
St.
Louis.
Louis. Yeah,
I'm the same way.
yeah,
Very distinct name. Like the fact
mm,
that she even looked, if I hear a name called out that's not mine, I'm not naturally looking.
yeah,
I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, Stacey." Yeah. Like why would
yeah.
I turn?
Also, like she played it off like, do I look like someone? It's like she didn't say like she didn't just like look at her and keep going. It was like
Mhm.
she like maybe like planned or like like prepared for that to happen someday or something like that. I don't know.
Y- Yeah, like if
Or
you're
like the
ever in this
people tell,
situation.
yeah, like because I believe there was like more women with her and like some creepy guys with her,
Mhm.
and like I would assume they were like, if you guys ever encounter anything, this is what you say potentially
Yeah.
if it was like she was abducted or something.
Yeah, this is like where like the sex trafficking thing really like I think a lot of people hone into this story because like you said, Kelly described her as like being with a few women who were like they were all dressed very similarly and they were with like these two other men who like these huge guys. Like she describes them as like look like football player dudes who like seem like bodyguard type, you know.
Yeah,
And that like freaked her out because Vegas pretty high sex trafficking area as
yeah,
well. And you have like this weird scenario where you have 4 or 5 women with like these two dudes who these guys are like keeping an eye on them. It looks like a bad situation. And so Kelly's automatically saying, something's off. This feels like sex trafficking. This feels wrong. This feels like my friend. So once the plane lands, she like books it to the Southwest counter, telling them that she's pretty sure that the missing person, Phoenix, is on the plane. And the airline actually calls the police, which kudos to Southwest for like being
yeah.
proactive. Police come and search the airport. They don't find her. I don't know if there's cameras at the time. Obviously, there had to be. This is 2014.
Hmm.
So it's like post 9/11. You would think that they would have like all these documents and that they'd be able to search more
Yeah,
thoroughly.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, you could see like, all right, let's look for all the women between this age on this flight. There's 15. Like none of the names are Phoenix. Like
Hmm.
let's look into all of them, something
Yeah,
like that.
just get everyone's names from that flight and go and
Yeah,
search because obviously she's not going by her name anymore.
and
There's
they had
been
to
no
use
record.
ID to get on the flight. So you
Yeah.
know, like it might not be Phoenix, but maybe they have a fake ID and they can look into that. I don't know.
No, that's what it that's what's weird to me. I'm like, did they really do everything they could? Because it definitely feels like there's loose ends, unless I'm literally just not finding where, like, what they did and why it was a loose end or why it was a dead end.
Yeah.
Because even as of 2018, 4 years after that, Kelly's like 90% sure that it was still Phoenix that she saw on that flight. Like, she was that confident. And the interaction alone leads me to believe that there's a chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. And whether she voluntarily left, who knows? Like, you hear horrible situations where people feel like that's their only way out and they are dealing with the wrong guys. And so they voluntarily leave and then they now wish they could come home. I don't know. But I think that theory could have some truth to it, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Potentially. Or
Potentially.
just a weird interaction with a random girl,
Yeah, that's
which
true.
is also scary and sad. But anyways.
Well, the last little bit is interesting because it feels like made up. Because this, so they're at this point where like cops aren't doing much. They find the family gets a private investigator working on the case, and his name is Steve Foster. He found that Phoenix actually had two birth certificates, one under Coldon, her adopted family's name, and one under Reeves, which is her mother Goldia's maiden name. So now, if obviously if you're adopted, two birth certificates isn't automatically like super suspicious and crazy, you know. However, it does seem weird in this situation because like what makes it interesting is what investigators found when they actually went looking for this Phoenix Reeves, the other birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
What's crazy to me alone is that they found four people with this exact name. I was like, only four Phoenix Reeves at this time. Like, that seems like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know, it seems like so narrow.
Yeah.
It's a good thing it's not a John Smith. They would be looking forever.
Yeah.
But so three of them that they find, they check out. They're real people living real lives. Nothing really interesting there. But they're not our girl. So the fourth had almost no paper trail, no listed date of birth, no social security number on file, no relatives attached to the name.
Sounds like a fake or something. Sounds like it was like a fake ID type of thing.
Sounds like, yeah, it sounds like maybe Phoenix Reeves
Just
is
made.
what someone could be going by, right?
Yeah.
Well, that fourth Phoenix Reeves had an address in Anchorage, Alaska, which is gnarly. The activity on record only lasted from January through June of 2012. This is the 6 months, the first 6 months that Phoenix Coldon disappeared. That's weird to
Weird.
me.
Yeah. But why did it disappear? Did she get a new name? Or did she like find or something else happened to her or something? Or maybe maybe someone abducted her and used
Changed
this
it.
stuff. Yeah. I don't
Well,
know.
that's what's weird is so at this point, the detective Joe Delia, I believe, he actually is retired, but he's still invested in the case. He actually flew to Anchorage himself. He's like, I'm going to go to that house and see if there's like any evidence that she was there, if anyone knew her. He
Yeah.
goes to the address, um, and he talked to the people who were living there. They had been living there since 2002. So this is
Weird.
obviously 10 years
Fake address.
before the birth certificate had any meaning. But they talked to this, or he talks to this family. They had never heard of a Phoenix Coldon, a Phoenix Reeves, anyone like that. He actually even canvassed the neighborhood. He's walking around pictures of Phoenix saying, does anybody recognize her? Was she around in 2012? Like, asking all the questions, not making any breakthroughs.
Yeah.
So it was weird as Anchorage leads to literally nothing. Doesn't like fully die because it does seem weird that like her original birth certificate was used for only 6 months of that time. Did she get abducted and someone took her identity for a little bit? Was it her and then they got a new identity so she doesn't need it anymore? I don't understand what this even could mean. But it's just weird that in the first 6 months is the only time there was a paper trail under this birth certificate. I don't know what that
Weird.
means.
Yeah. That sounds too coincidental.
Right. Yeah. I
Seems
don't know.
like it's like a I don't know, just the timing and everything. The names just too doesn't seem like a coincidence.
Yeah. And this is what stinks too, because like obviously the family, everyone's running through all these theories. Like, did she walk away voluntarily? Did she get sex trafficked? Did she like start this new life, whether intentionally or not intentionally? But the same, this is like what's so sad is that this part of the story like stings because the Coldens aren't the only ones that have faced this. But at some point during their search, a man in Texas told the family that he knew exactly where Phoenix was. Goldie and Lawrence, of course, who at that point would have done like literally anything, paid anything. Like this is their only child. They're going through it all to like try and find their daughter. They get that private investigator chase it down, and the man finally admitted that he had made the whole thing up. So after
See,
pouring all their resources into this Texas man, he's a big fat liar.
like I don't get why people even like find any type of like satisfaction or joy in like messing with people like that. It's like a weird creep that should get arrested, but I think it's because he didn't, hinder the actual police's investigation. He's going to be scot free, but I feel like
That's
people
what
that mess with
stinks.
like victims should be, you know, fined or get some kind of punishment.
Yeah. Well, because it affects them so much more than just emotionally, especially like for families like Goldie is. Like,
Yeah. Like they put everything into it. I'm pretty sure they lost their house because they were trying to find their daughter. And then it's like you're trying to stay home so your daughter can come back home
yeah.
to her home.
Okay, I can't imagine anything more heartbreaking. They spend all their money trying to find their daughter, pushes them into foreclosure. Now they have to move, and you have a missing child who, if she wanted to come home, this is the only house she knows.
Yeah.
That makes me sick to think that people are taking advantage of vulnerable people like this. And on top of that, that there's nothing now that they can do, and they are moving away from the area. Like that, oh, that always breaks my heart. I don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, that you nailed that story. Like it's so sad because not only did Goldie and Lawrence lose their child, they lost their home. They lost so much, like emotionally, physically, financially, damaging in every way. And Texas Man was not a big help in that for sure. And on top of that, not long after, the details are not completely verified, so it's kind of allegedly, but kind of verified. But they got a call around 4 in the morning, and Goldie answers it, and she hears a voice that says, "Mom, mom," and this phrase is repeated 3 times, like "Mom, mom, mom," and Goldie is like, "This is Phoenix." Like this, it sounds like her. This has to be Phoenix. So she immediately they call the police, like trace this number. She's trying to find us. Turns out to be a 14-year-old girl playing a prank that lives in Beverly Hills.
Dang.
I hope this prank
What is,
haunts that 14-year-old forever. That is so cruel.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. And just like you were
How did
saying
she
with
even get the
Texas guy,
number to do that? That's crazy.
I'm sure that there's like the family has posted like if you have any information, call me,
Yeah, true.
looking for tips or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's just so sad because that's what an open case like this does to a family. It's not just like unanswered questions is sitting on a file in a cold case. It's like a wound that people are profiting off of, that people are joking about. That it's like this
Mm.
is so fresh for the family, and you have all these people. Well, in this case situation too, that have taken advantage of that, and so they're just getting hit over and over, like pouring salt in that wound repeatedly. Ugh, makes me sick.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like missing persons cases are always like the worst because you never know. Like you don't have any like solution
Closure.
or closure on anything. Like
I know.
obviously like murder or something like that is super sad, but at least like you have closure and the person goes to jail potentially and like what happened rather than wondering if they'll ever be back and never like close that book or close the wound or something.
Yeah. I don't know any missing person family that could be like, okay, it's time to move on. Like you always
Yeah.
probably have that hope that something's going to change and they're going to come home, they're going to find out what happened. And I have heard that like obviously a family member getting murdered is absolutely horrible. But I
Yeah.
have heard that missing person cases sting just like in a whole different way because of the lack of knowledge of like, could they be on the street? Are they in a horrible situation? Are they getting tortured? Are they happy? You know, like
Mm-hmm.
any possibility is there.
Yeah.
And so
True.
that's like everything about this case to what I have. So the car that may or may not have been running, the two boyfriends, the note that is like kind of like a threat potentially.
Alaska,
Alaska, the friend who like
Vegas.
yeah, the friend who's like 90% sure she saw her, Phoenix, you know, I don't know. So with all that information, what's your opinion? What's your take?
I think it's a mix between the girl in Vegas actually being her and Alaska is actually real too.
Really? So do you think
Yeah.
that she did that voluntarily though, or that this is like a sex traffic situation or abduction situation or
Yeah. I think it's potentially also the boyfriends kind of mess with me too. I don't really know. Maybe potentially her boyfriend convinced her to do some kind of sex trafficking or like some kind of gig that seemed too good to be true and she got sex trafficked and she's stuck in it and like I don't know, something like
I
that.
actually wondered that too. Like you have heard of stories where like boyfriends are like more like pimps, you know, and
Yeah.
they're like trying to make money through their girlfriend and stuff. So maybe she got pushed into a situation that she didn't know was that severe
Hmm.
and that could have taken her away from her family.
Yeah.
I feel like there could be truth in every theory. And I'm
Yeah.
like, and so it leads me wondering
Are they all involved?
if, yeah, is everyone
Is
involved?
every theory correct?
I feel like they could all intertwine. And so, but then that leads me to ask, so you think that she's still out there?
I don't know. The whole like her everything like not like all of her documents and stuff not being used, like her
Hmm.
that's sketchy and that's weird. But maybe she got a new identity somehow.
Yeah.
I don't
If
know.
it is a sex trafficking situation or pimp or whatever, or voluntarily, like maybe she would have resources to have a different identity, have money in a different way. So,
Yeah.
but if she
I don't
wasn't
know.
involved in any of that, then obviously if there's no trail, then that doesn't look good either. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Phoenix Coldon has now been missing for almost 15 years. St. Louis County police say that the case is still open, but like and that she hasn't been forgotten. But there's no body, there's no confirmed sighting, no resolved birth certificate mystery going on, no cleared or convicted suspect. Doesn't even seem like there's any potential suspects on the table right now.
And there's like no like forensics or anything. It's like they can't. It's like there's nothing to really like figure this out until something happens.
Right.
That hasn't
So,
happened yet.
exactly. The car had like never been processed, and because there's no forensics, there's no evidence that they could go off of. So, literally, the only thing that's going to get this case moving is tips and people coming forward. So, that is what they are looking for to this day, and that is the case of Phoenix Coldon.
Dang.
I know. I just like it's so sad because I feel like there's enough to like get you thinking of possibilities, but there's really not enough to go down very far down any trail for very long before it's a dead
Yeah.
end. So if anyone knows
True.
anything, we got to find Phoenix.
Yeah. Reach out to the St. Louis police.
Yes, look up St. Louis police, figure it out, send in the tip. They need you. The family needs you. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Blake. Well, do you have a keyword?
Southwest.
Southwest. Nice. That story's still crazy to me. I think it was Phoenix on that flight, I think.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. All right. Well, that is all we have for this week. Sorry we're a little late. It's been busy. Blake's flying. I'm very large and tired all the time. But we're grateful you're here. And we'll be back next week
Yes.
with another episode of Siblings in Crime.
Thank you.
Dango.